We have a new agent coming to Valorant. Let's talk about the new agent coming to Valorant. What we're going to do is first take a look at the gameplay trailer, then we're going to take a look at a deeper dive on the abilities. Let's dive in. Tejo.
Parce, vamos B. Volteo torre para que entre Viper. Simón. Lanzo rockets a backside y le abro espacio a la Jet.
Claro.
Va, vamos.
1, 2, 1, 2, es un honor estar en esta latitud. Da igual si son 17 o es una multitud. Vinimos por amor, traemos gratitud. Preciosa esa actitud, no tarde pero aquí. Para ver la tropa se
Looks pretty good.
culpas de los otros participantes. De Furu y los chasmatas, banda John Sixi. Saltar por ansiedad o necesidad, ofensa prolongada soledad. Saltar para burlarse de la gravedad, por curiosidad o levedad, ya que no pudimos con la edad. Celebración, quien no lo gana no lo cuenta.
Okay. Bounce off walls. Keep that in mind. Ah, yes, post plant. That's what we need in this game. More post plant ability. And there you go. That is Tejo. Now we're going to dive into all of the actual abilities, the descriptions, what they actually do. I will also be streaming later on as well in the day, so go and watch that if you want to figure out what maps this agent will be good on. Spoiler alert, I think this agent looks pretty good, but we'll get into that a bit more right now. So let's dive into these abilities then. The first one we have is Special Delivery. Equip a sticky grenade and press fire to launch it. The grenade sticks to the first surface it hits and explodes, concussing any target caught in the blast. You can ult fire to launch the grenade with a single bounce instead. So this is this ability here, the second ability. So not the signature. I'm pretty sure this one isn't the signature, but it's the thing that you fire out that we saw there that you can bounce off the wall if you so choose. And as they say, it's gonna be a stun. So you kind of have like a shootable stun there. I don't quite know. The one question I would have is how far can you shoot this thing, right? If you shoot it way up into the air, can you do lineups like across the map? Is that something that's going to be possible? Or is it just kind of a short range thing? Not quite sure just yet, but either way, that seems, decent. Okay, the next one is Stealth Drone. Equip a Stealth Drone. Fire to deploy the drone forward and assume direct control of its movement. Fire again to trigger a pulse that suppresses and reveals enemies hit. So this is the kind of little drone thing that we saw, which I think will be pretty good, right? You can see it has a decent duration just there. It suppresses and reveals people. That is very, very good, right? It just in general, to start off with, drone abilities in Valorant, as you are probably all very well aware, are just very strong. One that then reveals people, also very strong, and also suppresses people, also pretty strong, right? All of those things are good. Thankfully, you only get one charge of it. You can see here at the bottom that you only get one charge of all of the abilities, which I think is probably for the best, because this is just a very good ability. Like, there's just no real other way of saying that, right? This is obviously pretty good. Okay, next one here, GuidedSalvo. Equip an AR targeting system. Fire to select up to 2 target locations on the map. Ult fire to launch missiles that autonomously navigate to target locations, detonating on arrival. So I assume that this is a damaging ability. This, I think, is the signature ability just here. So you're going to see like a little brimstone map come up. There you go. And you pick 2 places and in go the rockets. And yeah, they deal some damage, I think, as you see just there. It looks like it comes in pulses, as you can see. So probably, kind of breach aftershock type effect, right? Where we're dealing like, chipped, it's not going to be like 100 damage just straight away. It's like bursts of maybe, if I had to guess, if it's 3 bursts, right, it'll probably be like 40, 50, 60, somewhere in that range, right? For each of these little bursts, I would assume. And you can see you get 2 little circles on the map. Not quite sure. One thing I'll have to test is if you put 2 in one location, does it like do double damage, right? Because that obviously could be pretty good if it does. Not sure. We'll have to test that, of course. But yeah, for right now, that is the signature ability, and you know, looks like a pretty decent signature ability. You can see the range here does look like a brim circle. If it's not, let me know, but that kind of looks like a brim circle. It looks pretty big either way, right? Like, I mean, you know, you can get here from B short over towards A, right? You could kill people, you could get people in lamps with this, I assume. And I assume that they would go around the map like this, again, something to test out. But, you know, at least for the time being, looks pretty decent. And then finally, the ultimate, Armageddon. Equip a tactical strike targeting map. Fire to select the origin point of the strike. Fire again to set the end point and launch the attack, unleashing a wave of explosions along the strike path. So we saw this in the video a little bit as well. Yeah, this kind of airstrike ability. You can see it literally does kind of, you know, look like an airstrike. So you pick the kind of direction that it goes as well. So, and then, you know, it comes across here as kind of this big strike. Now, again, we don't quite know the damage, you know, numbers just yet, but as you can see, again, we're looking at kind of like a brim circle again here, in terms of where you're going to put this and where you're going to place this. So you could help your teammates across the map potentially with this as well, right? If you're on defense side and you're trying to defend an exec coming in, you know, you could use this ult to potentially stop people from coming into the site, and killing them. You could assume that in some parts of a map, right, this is going to be very strong anywhere where there's kind of a long corridor. This is obviously going to be pretty good because it comes in kind of a long corridor. So, you know, like Haven C, right? If people are all running down Haven C, like attackers are in Haven C, they're about to do an exec, you airstrike them from behind and it's like they have to go right now. Like, you know, they can't stay there. That's obviously pretty good. Or alternatively, you know, you could do it the other way around so that it pushes them back. Either way, you know, we'll have to know exactly what the damage numbers are. It looks like it is a 8 cost ult. So I'm just going to play the video again as I give some of my initial thoughts. Of course, this is very early thoughts. Haven't, you know, tried the agent out or anything yet, so don't fully know. But just in general, this agent looks pretty good, right? I do want to toot my own horn a bit here and say that I did kind of predict this agent, right? Like, if you watch the preview video, this is actually, you know, I did mention airstrikes. I did mention kind of a breach competitor. I do want to also mention it does look like we have a 45-second cooldown here for the signature ability, which I think is interesting because, you know, most of the initiators have 40, and it wouldn't shock me if that was one way that they tried to balance some initiators in the future, if that's what we're leaning into, right? Maybe, you know, like a Sova Dart maybe could be 45 instead, right? That seems reasonable. This ability, I think, just has to be very strong, right? I just think that that has to be good. No matter if you're playing ranked, if you're playing at pro level, right? In both scenarios, that little drone has to be very good, right? Like, drones just in general are very good, and anytime you can get reveals and suppresses going off, that just has to be good. The concuss is probably like, you know, it's fine. It's not a bad ability, right? Like, it will find some use for you. You will get use out of it. The drone stuff seems pretty good as well, right? I mean, you can definitely see it on any smaller map in particular. To me, this is like a bind, right? Or a fracture. Like, those kind of maps just has to be pretty good. And combo wise, right? Combos, you're thinking about, like, can we play a raise, kind of fade, deadlock, you know, this guy, you know, plus one other, plus a controller, like that kind of comp, I could see being pretty strong, right? Like, you trap people in place, you've got raise nades to use with it, you've got, you know, the signature ability, you got the ult here for this guy as well. Like, you know, you're then getting a lot of combos if you've got Fade Seize and Deadlock Gravnet to, you know, trap people in place, and then you've got a Raise Nade, you've got this signature ability to then just, you know, kill them in place, essentially. That could be very, very strong, and so, yeah. Look, initiators tend to be pretty good in this game, like, that's just kind of the way it is, but I do think that this guy looks pretty good, and I think he probably will be threatening breach on any kind of breach map. Maybe you could even play both together on a map like Fracture, I don't even know, but I think he'll be threatening breach on some maps. He'll probably find his way into other maps, like, it just because it's pretty, it just looks pretty good. I don't really know what else to say. It just looks pretty good.